Hey everybody, it's Rob. I'm back. We're going to do another Proving Grounds practice machine walkthrough. This time we're doing a machine called Press, and it is a Linux machine rated as intermediate. It wasn't too bad. There were some parts that took me a while, and it was mostly related to trying to get into the application. But without further ado, let's get started. You can see I am on Offsec's VPN. And I do have the Press machine spun up, and here's its IP address. First thing we did, as always, is we ran an Nmap scan. Service version detection T4, all ports aggressive, and not too much came back. We got 22, 80, and 80, 89. So really that leaves us 80 and 80, 89. So I immediately went to those pages, and this website came up on 80. There wasn't a whole lot I could do, couldn't sign in or anything. 8089 was much more interesting. It is a Flatpress blog, and let's just see. Okay. I looked up default credentials. I couldn't really find anything. And the bad news is I figured this was the way to exploit this machine, and everything that I searched for, I found a couple of exploits actually. As a matter of fact, if you do Flatpress exploit, there's really two that pop up. This one is a remote code execution, but it's authenticated because it requires a username and password. And then there's this one, which is a file upload bypass remote code execution. This one requires a login as well. So I spent a lot of time essentially trying to log into this application. I tried admin, that didn't work. I tried using an email address that I found on the other website. That didn't work. Finally, I tried admin password, and it let me in. So you can see there's this uploader here, and this relates directly to this file upload RCE. Now, what I did do was I tried this remote code execution first, because no matter wherever I went in here, I could not find the version of this. It's crazy. I looked all over the place. It's probably, if it was a snake, it'd probably bite me, but I could not find the version of Flatpress that is installed. So I went ahead and I actually did try. Let's see if I think I still have it here. Yeah. I did try this exploit, and it did not work. So .venv, and if you look, it's a Python virtual environment because it required me to install requests, which, as you know, is not a normal Python library that's installed. So I did create a virtual environment, and it calls for the website, which is the IP address in 8089, and then admin and password. And if you hit enter on this, it looks like it's working. Exploit failed. So no matter what I tried, the exploit failed. So I don't think this machine is either vulnerable to this particular exploit or there's something in the code that I don't have set up correctly. But I didn't really mess with it too much. So that was this one. So I couldn't get this one to work. I'm not saying it wouldn't work, but it didn't work for me. Now, this file upload bypass was pretty interesting. So if you log in, it tells you can create a payload. So if you don't know, basically what it's doing is it's allowing you to upload a file that should be an image, but is not. And it's kind of tricky the way this one works. If you look, it's using the GIF specification. And this is an identifier or a GIF header that identifies the file as a GIF, even though the file extension could be something else. So I don't have a whole lot of experience with this, but I thought this was a pretty interesting way to look at it. So they just did a simple demonstration or proof of concept that this would work. What I did was I said, well, if this will work, let's try doing this. I went to my tools, shells, and then I have this PHP rev shell.php. What I did was I opened with gedit, and I dropped that GIF89A semicolon at the top of the file. And then I also edited my IP address and the port that I was going to be listening on. So I tried this. I just took this PHP reverse shell file and I added the GIF89A semicolon to the top of it, right? We click save and we're done. Now, if you come over to this uploader and you try and upload just a normal, anything other than an image, it's not going to work. So like I'll actually show you. I'll browse and I'll upload this one that I did not edit, okay? So we'll try and open that and we'll try and upload it, and you can see the upload failed. Now, if we take that one where we added that GIF89A semicolon, which is this one, and we try and upload that, the upload now did succeed. So even though it's a PHP file, it still allowed you to upload it. So if you go to the Media Manager, that PHP reverse shell is right there, okay? So what we need to do is we need to start a listener, netcat NLVP on 1, 2, 3, 4, and hit enter. Now, if all goes well, when we click on this web page should stall out, which means that it has succeeded in creating the reverse shell connection. So let's click on it. And you can see it's kind of stalled there. So we come back over here and we do who am I. You can see we're now dub data. All right. So we can do bin bash I. Okay. So if we go cd home ls, there's nothing there. Okay. So I poked around. There was no. Actually, there is one interesting thing I did find. If you look, you can do sudo no password for apt-get. So 100%, that's the way we're exploiting this machine. Okay. If you ran linps on this, for example, that would light up. That would 100% light up as a yellow and red highlight, because that is definitely not something that you want to do, is give somebody that with no password for sudo. So, I mean, I looked for SUID, all that stuff. There was nothing, okay? I did run sudo -l, and the good news is I don't know what the password is. You saw I didn't type a password to get in here. So the fact that we can run this with no password is definitely the way that we're going to want to exploit this machine, okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to come over here to GTFO bins, okay? And for apt-get, for sudo, there's a few options here. Now, I tried a couple of these. This first one did not work. I didn't try the second one. What I did is I went right to this third one. So it's basically doing an exploitation of the update feature of apt-get, and it's invoking bash, okay? And because you're running this with elevated privileges, it doesn't let go of those privileges when it invokes bash, okay? So if we highlight this, we don't have to do anything to this. Just copy it and paste it. So if we come over here and we paste this in here, paste clipboard, and we hit enter, it looks like nothing happened, but if we type who am I, we're now root. So now we can do bin bash I again, and we're 100% root. So now we go cd root, and we do an ls, and we cat proof.txt, and there's the flag. So there was a couple of things that went on here. The first thing we did was we exploited this uploader and the fact that it was not actually doing true verification that the file that we were uploading was an image. It was just taken. We just put a GIF header in this PHP reverse shell file, and it let us upload that file. The next thing that we did was we got onto the machine and we did a sudo -l, which you should 100% always try just to see what's going on. And we were able to run the apt-get command with no password. Now, the fact that we don't even know what the password is, so that's great. So then you go over to gtfo bins for apt-get, sudo, you drop this command in there, and the next thing you know, you have the root flag because you have an elevated shell now. So it was actually a pretty interesting machine, pretty straightforward. The hardest part for me, believe it or not, was guessing the password of the Flatpress site, because I didn't know what else to try. So I probably took 15 or 20 minutes of poking around trying to figure out what to use, and ultimately admin password actually worked. So because all of the exploits were authenticated, you needed credentials to be able to pwn this machine. So hopefully this was helpful for you. If you have any questions or comments, drop them below. I will certainly pop all the links that I covered in this walkthrough in the description below. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.